Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about, torn biceps and concerns over deadlifts and the points that a lot of people completely miss on this topic. Everyone sees it on the deadlift, and, they're like, oh, it must be the mixed grip that causes it. And we need to be very, very clear. It is not the mixed grip itself that is the cause. It's that if you have weaknesses and you have a technique that is prone to causing bicep tears, your underhand grip is more likely for that injury to occur. But we need to be clear, it's not the actual cause. Okay? It just increases the likelihood once the risk is already present. In other words, even with a mixed grip, if you have put the other factors into place to make it very difficult to tear a bicep, you're not really at high risk. Again, so hopefully people understand that. And the other thing to remember is that the majority of bicep tears, according to orthopedic surgeons who repair ruptured bicep tendons and have to reattach them in surgery, that curls are actually the number one cause, not, and we would be clear, not deadlifts. I've also known a coach personally on my Facebook friends list who tore one doing weighted chin-ups. Okay, weighted chin-ups are actually a very high risk of tearing a bicep. Okay, and again, it just has to do with training too many partials. All right, so let's briefly discuss some of this. Number one, any bend in the elbow when you deadlift puts you at risk. And people say, what do you mean? It can't happen with hook grip, can't happen with straps and overhand. Yeah, it can, and it does. Do a little bit of Googling, and if you guys go search for videos, you will find that there are multiple videos out there of lifters detaching biceps while doing overhand grip with straps. And I'm talking full ruptures to where you see it detach on camera and retract up into their arm right there on camera. There is footage of it. It's happened to quite a few lifters out there, and it's because they're jerking the weight off the ground with bent elbows. So if you pull that way, or you think that, hey, you can get away with that just because you have straps, well, you might be in for a rude awakening one day. Okay, that is not. It is not a safe way to pull. Is your risk lower? Yes, it's a lower risk, but it still can happen, and it still does happen, and it's because you literally do not know how to perform a deadlift correctly. Okay, you have no idea how to deadlift. If you have any slack in your arms, or you jerk the weight instead of a controlled pull, even a fast pull, it should be controlled with your elbows locked. Okay, and elbow lock is obviously dependent upon your personal joints. Like someone says, well, my elbows don't lock completely or whatever, no matter what I do. Well, that's okay, that's your joint. You can't tear it then. Okay, it's not about the degrees of how straight it is. It has to do with, is the joint locked or not? In other words, is the bicep contracted? Because any contraction of the bicep occurring, which again, meaning the elbow is bent at all, it's not in the locked position, puts you at risk. The more you jerk off the bottom, the higher that risk is too. So if you have a bent elbow and you jerk, and again, bent being relative to your anatomy, straps are not going to save you from tearing a bicep. Overhand grip is not going to save you from tearing a bicep. It's just not. Okay, we need to be clear here. All right. Another thing has been pointed out, weak lats can absolutely be a factor. Good lat work and full range of motion curls can be preventative. Why? And notice I say full range of motion curls because you're used to having your bicep completely stretched. Okay, stretched biceps means that your elbow goes into your locked position. So people who train partials on the curls only, they don't ever come to their bottom. And again, please note, people are like, well, you're not, but I actually am. I've demonstrated to you guys many times that that is my full locked position. Okay. demonstrated it by hanging over 100 pounds around a belt and just going into a full dead hang. That is my elbow lock, right? You need to train to your range of motion. By doing that, your biceps are used to being stretched and allowing the elbow to lock out under load. Okay, that can actually train you to do that. So if all your pulls are done that way, stronger lats tend to put you in a position to where it's harder to strain the biceps. So lots of full range of motion lat work. Lots of full range of motion curls. These things can help train you to pull with straight arms, okay? Because it increases your mobility. All right, that is a factor, and it's not just that. It has to do with the fact that it trains you to be able to pull in those positions later. Your biceps are used to being stretched under load, and therefore if they're used to being stretched, they're used to being in a locked position with load on them, okay? The people who tend to only do the partials and they skip the very end have trained their biceps to unlock and to never go into a locked position in the elbow, and then to contract against a load. Well, doing that and the bicep contracting against that load is how you tear the bicep, even overhand grip with straps. Okay, so there is training that helps with this. And we come back over to a point that we make. This is yet one of many, many examples to where training full ranges of motion on exercises not only builds more muscle and strength, it can help reduce injuries. It improves your durability in all sorts of situations against injuries. All right? Again, just another example. Stop doing partials for anything that works the bicep. That will help you. It will help reduce the injury risk. Because again, the muscles are stronger and used to being put into stretched positions. It is not being used to put into stretched positions of loading on so many things is what causes injuries. Pec tears on benching, bicep tears, quad tears, okay? Hamstring tears. All right, these are oftentimes mobility related issues. All right, this helps eliminate that. Learning to always pull. Don't get so psyched up on your pulls that you're jerking. You know, get so excited you just got to jerk the weight off the floor. Well, once you learn to just pull smooth but still fast and powerful. And a smooth pull means you've pulled the slack out of the bar before you try to break the weight off the floor. Okay? Again, enormous, absolutely enormous factor here. All right, these are the things that we need to be looking at. And the same thing on the curls, doing those partials and stuff guys do on the preacher bench, that itself carries a high risk of eventually tearing a bicep. Right? You guys don't want to hear that. They want to ego lift on the preacher bench. Well, more power to you, but if you like your biceps, you probably shouldn't do that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.